Creatures of the Deep number 2. Let me read. In our time, we've become used to see the side of the airplane. Yes, at the moment, we've become used to, for example, used to see some aircrafts and planes. I think it is not something strange. Yet, in some parts of the Pacific Ocean, as well as on the coasts of India, China, and Western America, are to be found fish which knew all about flying long before man did. Fish can fly. Fish has the ability to fly. It is something strange. It is something weird. Yes, there is fish that can fly. It's called flying fish. This is what we're going to be talking about in today's lesson. So let me talk about the first creature of the deep. It's called flying fish. Flying fish. Yes, that's right. Look in front of you. This fish is called flying fish. The blue one in front of you is called flying fish. Let me get you some ideas and read today's words. Passengers on board ocean liners love to watch the gay antics of the flying fish. Now swimming beneath the waves, now cutting through the air, and again skimming along the surface of the water. They like very much, these passengers like very much watching the flying fish swimming beneath the waves, cutting through the air, and skimming or move above the surface of the water. They like watching the flying fish very much. So let's know how the flying fish can fly. When swimming underwater, the flying fish folds both pairs of fins against his sides. But when chased by other fish, he takes off by thrashing the water with his tail, which acts as a propeller and shoots him up into the air. At once, his forefins are spread out like the wings of a plane, and he glides swiftly through the air for several seconds. As soon as he touches the water, the propeller begins to work again, and he skims along the surface like a seaplane. Often he takes off 4 times before diving below the surface again. So let's know how the flying fish can fly. Ready? Here we go, let's get it started. When the flying fish underwater, it folds its fins. Look in front of you to know the meaning of the word fins. Yes, that's right. So again, it folds its fins against its sides. Just to move underwater. But when the flying fish followed by another fish or chased by another fish, it hits the water by its tail. Yes, at that time, the tail acts as a propeller. Look in front of you to know the meaning of the word propeller. Yes, that's right. So the tail acts as a propeller or a fan that moves the fish up into the air. That's right, guys. Once the fish flies in the air, its fins act as plain wings. Yes, plain wings. And moves the fish through the air for some time. As soon as he goes down and touches the water, his tail that acts as what? Yes, as a propeller begins to work again. So, it is said that if men had studied the ways of flying fish rather than those of birds, they would have found the secret of flying much sooner. Flying fish are harmless little creatures, but there are large amphibious deep-sea fish which no swimmer or diver cares to meet. No one wants to meet the second creature that we're going to be talking about. No one wants to meet him at all. But let me explain this slide. It is said that if men had studied the ways of the flying fish instead of those of birds, if men had worked on the ways of the flying fish instead of those of birds, they would have found the secret of flying earlier than that, or much sooner. Yes, yeah, that's right. Some people think that. Some people think that. They think that if men had worked on the ways that the flying fish use instead of those of birds, they would have found the secret of flying earlier than that or much sooner. The second point. Flying fish really they are harmless creature, but there are large amphibious deep sea fish, which one or which no one or swimmer cares to meet. No one wants to meet the second creature. What is this creature? So when it comes to the creatures that no one wants to meet, we have two creatures. The first one is called the sawfish. The second is called the swordfish. Sawfish and swordfish. Look please in front of you. The right one is called swordfish. The second one or the left one is called the sawfish. But let me first let me read. The sawfish and the swordfish are two of these creatures. The one has a snout shaped like a sharp-toothed saw, while the nose of the other is like a very long sword. It is thought that the sawfish uses his saw chiefly as a spade. Look please in front of you to know the meaning of the word spade. Yes, that's right, this is a spade. So he uses his saw chiefly as a spade, with which to dig juicy morsels from the mud at the bottom of the sea. The swordfish, however, doesn't think twice about running his sword through the body of any foe. Foe it means enemy. Foe means enemy. Sometimes he pierces the bottom of the boat with it. So right now, let me clarify. So right now we have two creatures, or we have two kinds of fish. We have two kinds of fish. The left one is called the sawfish. The second one is called the swordfish. First of all, let me clarify what does the sawfish do to get his food. The first one is called the sawfish. The fish has a snout shaped like a sharp-toothed saw. Yes, look in front of you, this is the saw. Look, his nose looks like a saw. Okay, while the nose of the other is very long sword, while the nose of the other creature looks like a sword. In terms of the sawfish, it is thought that the sawfish uses his saw as a spade. He uses his saw as a spade. He uses his nose that looks like a saw as a spade that he uses to get his food from the mud at the bottom of the sea. That's right, this is in terms of the sawfish. Number two, the swordfish, however, doesn't think twice about running his sword through the body of any foe. He doesn't think when he sees an enemy. He doesn't think twice. What does he do? He pies the bottom of the boat with it. He can use his sword to pierce the bottom of a boat with it. He can use his sword to pierce. What do I mean by the word pierce? It means he uses his sharp nose to make a hole in that boat. So he uses his sword to pierce or to make a hole in the bottom of the boat. He uses his sword. So right now let me tell you a story about a diver and a swordfish. Once upon a time, a diver went down to the bed of the ocean. Bed of the ocean, it means he went down to the bottom of the ocean. Why? Why did this diver went down to the bottom of the ocean? In order to explore, that's right, yeah, that's right, in order to explore the wreck of a sunken ship. In order to explore the wreck of a sunken ship. The wreck of a sunken ship, it means he went down to explore a destroyed ship. To explore a destroyed ship. So, on his way, he spied a baby swordfish gazing at him. He saw a baby swordfish looking at him through the green waters. He saw a baby swordfish gazing at him. It means looking at him through green waters, feeling rather afraid. He killed the little swordfish. Unfortunately, he killed the little swordfish. At once, what happened? What happened once he killed the little swordfish? Yes, that's right. The angry mother came into view and tried to run her sword through the diver's body. As you know, this fish has a sword, so she tried to put her sword through the diver's body. What happened after that? The man gave a signal to his friends above. You know, definitely his friends are waiting for him. So the man gave a signal to his friends above. Once he gave him the signal, they began to pull him towards the surface. They began to haul him up. It means they began to pull him up toward the surface. As he rose, it means when he goes up or when he was in his way up, the furious swordfish swam around him. Furious, it means very angry. The furious swordfish swam around him, seeking to find a weak spot in his diving suit. She tried hard to find a spot in his diving suit. and it was only when he was quite near the surface, once he was about to reach the surface of the sea, that she gave up the chase by the time the diver had fainted fright. It means the diver lost his conscious. So the electric ray may use these cells to protect herself or to defend herself against enemies. Again, the electric ray uses these cells to protect herself or to defend herself against enemies. Like what? Like, for example, like bathers. Her enemies like bathers. What do you mean by the word bather? A bather is a person who is swimming in the sea or the river. Again, what do you mean by the word bather? Is a person who is swimming in the sea or the river. Okay. If a bather touches an electric ray, he may feel a sting, like that you feel when a bee stings you. Definitely you know the meaning of the word bee. A bee is an insect that makes honey. A bee is an insect that makes honey. So, what happens if a big fish stings you? What happens if a big fish stings a grown-up man? If the fish stings a big one, he might feel a shock. He might feel a shock. As a result of this shock, he may not recover for some days. As a result of this shock, he might not recover for some days. If a big ray or if a big electric ray stings a grown-up man. Let's talk about another kind of deep creature. Another fish which is worthwhile to avoid is the electric ray. It's called electric ray. It is found in many parts of the world. The electric ray is found in many parts of the world. The fish has a round body. Look at the fish in front of you. The fish, the electric ray is in front of you. Look at the electric ray. She has a round body and a long tail. She has a round body and a long tail. Dark above, a white beneath. The upper part is dark, the lower part is white. It has beneath its gills. It has beneath its gills a large number of electric cells, with which, when it's phased, who touch an electric ray may feel a sharp sting. What do these words mean? It has beneath its gills. What do you mean by the word gills? Gills mean the organ through which fish or any other water creature breathe through. It is the part of the body of the fish that the fish uses to take its breath. It's called gills. Gills. So it has beneath its gills a large number of what? Of electric cells. Of electric cells.